Hi, friend. I'm Melissa, and welcome to Be On the episode of Midlife with Melissa. In my regular episodes, I share the personal side of midlife, the emotions, the questions, the moments that changed me, and the lessons I am still learning. But some subjects deserve more time. They deserve a conversation that brings together personal experience and education. Today, we are talking about what can happen when perimenopause enters a marriage. Because although perimenopause happens inside a woman's body, its effects do not always remain there. They can enter the bedroom, the conversations, the arguments, the responsibilities inside the home, the way a woman feels about herself, and the way two people begin interpreting each other's behavior. Before I continue, I want to be clear. I am sharing my own experience along with information from established medical and menopause health sources. I am not a doctor, therapist, or a relationship counselor, and this conversation is not medical or relationship advice. Every woman and every marriage is different. But I believe we need to talk honestly about this, because when neither person understands what is happening, two people who love each other can begin believing that their relationship itself is the problem. Sometimes there is more happening beneath the surface. For a long time, I did not understand what was happening to me. I knew I felt different. My emotions felt stronger and harder to control. My anxiety felt different from anything I had experienced before. My energy changed. My sleep changed. My ability to manage stress changed. I became more withdrawn, and I did not always have the words to explain why. And when I could not explain it to myself, I certainly did not know how to explain it to Jason. That created a painful situation for both of us. I was living inside a body and mind that no longer felt familiar. He was watching the woman he loved change without understanding what was happening. Neither one of us had the correct language for it. So instead of saying, something may be changing hormonally and I need help understanding it, the questions inside a marriage can begin sounding more like, why are you so distant? Why are you always upset? Why don't you want to go anywhere? Why don't you seem interested in the things you used to enjoy? Are you unhappy with me? And the woman herself may be silently asking, why can't I handle my life anymore? Why am I reacting this way? Why don't I feel close to anyone? What happened to the woman I used to be? Perimenopause commonly involves more than menstrual changes. Women may also experience sleep disruption, mood changes, problems concentrating, hot flashes or night sweats, vaginal changes, and changes in sexual desire. The ACOG notes that approximately 4 in 10 women experience mood symptoms during perimenopause, and that may include irritability, low energy, tearfulness, and difficulty concentrating. When several of those changes happen at the same time, they can affect how a woman communicates, responds to stress, participates in family life, and connects physically and emotionally with her partner. That does not mean hormone explains every relationship problem. It does not mean a woman has no responsibility for her words or actions. And it does not mean every difficult marriage is experiencing a menopause-related issue. But symptoms can create additional pressure inside a relationship, especially when no one recognizes them. Understanding provides context. It does not remove accountability, but context can help two people stop treating each other like enemies and begin asking better questions. One of the most painful parts of this transition is how easily symptoms can be misunderstood. Exhaustion may look like disinterest. Needing space may look like emotional rejection. Brain fog may look like someone no longer listening. A reduced desire for sex may be interpreted as a loss of attraction. Irritability may feel like anger directed at the partner, even when the woman herself does not fully understand where the feeling is coming from. A woman may stop wanting to attend events, see friends, or leave the house. Her partner may think, she does not want to spend time with me. But inside, she may be thinking, I do not have the energy to pretend that I feel okay. And that distinction matters. There were times when I was not pulling away because I had stopped loving Jason. I was pulling inward because I was struggling to understand myself. I was using so much energy trying to function that I had very little left to explain what was happening. From the outside, withdrawal can feel personal. When a partner does not understand the difference between she does not love me and she does not feel like herself, hurt and resentment can begin growing on both sides. Sleep can play a huge role. Hot flashes, night sweats, and mood changes can contribute to disrupted sleep during the menopausal transition. Poor sleep can then affect energy, patience, concentration, emotional regulation, and interest in sex. That can create a cycle. A woman does not sleep. She feels exhausted and emotionally overwhelmed. Her partner feels shut out or rejected. He responds with frustration or distance. She feels even less understood. Then both people begin reacting to each other's reactions instead of addressing what started the cycle. That does not make either person bad. It means both people may be hurting without understanding the source of the strain. We also need to talk honestly about physical intimacy. Sexual changes during perimenopause are not always about whether a woman loves or desires her partner. Hormonal changes may contribute to vaginal dryness, tissue changes, discomfort during sex, and changes in sexual interest. Sleep loss, stress, mood symptoms, body image changes, medication effects, relationship concerns, and other health conditions may also influence desire and intimacy. For a woman, it may be difficult or embarrassing to explain. My body is not responding the way it used to. I am uncomfortable. I feel disconnected from my own body. I do not understand why my desire has changed. A partner may hear less frequent intimacy and think, she no longer wants me. The woman may hear disappointment from her partner and think, my body is failing at one more thing. Then intimacy begins feeling like another area of pressure instead of a place of connection. These conversations require tenderness. Pain during sex should not be ignored or accepted as something a woman simply has to endure. A qualified healthcare provider can help evaluate possible causes and discuss appropriate options. At the same time, intimacy inside a marriage includes more than intercourse. It can include affection, honest conversation, holding hands, sitting together, feeling emotionally safe, being able to say, I am struggling, without fear that the struggle will automatically be interpreted as rejection. Sometimes couples need to rebuild emotional safety before physical closeness begins feeling natural again. This is where the subject becomes deeply personal for me. Jason and I loved each other, but love did not automatically give us an explanation for what was happening. I did not understand the changes inside me. He could not see inside my mind or body. We were both responding to what we could see on the surface, and over time, the strain became part of a much larger breakdown in our marriage. Our marriage ended. We divorced. I want to be responsible in the way I say that. Perimenopause was not a magical explanation that erased every other problem, every hurt, or every choice either of us made. A marriage is complicated. Two people bring their histories, communication patterns, fears, responsibilities, and wounds into it. But I do believe the changes I was experiencing and our lack of understanding about them placed enormous pressure on us. I was not behaving like the Melissa either of us recognized. I felt anxious, emotionally overwhelmed, disconnected, and so lost inside myself. Jason was trying to understand a situation that I could not explain. When neither person has the right information, both can begin creating explanations of their own. She does not care. He does not understand. She has changed. He is not listening. She does not want this marriage. He expects me to be someone I cannot be right now. Those explanations begin hardening into beliefs. And eventually, the beliefs can become more powerful than the love underneath them. But our story did not end with divorce. We kept fighting for each other. We found our way back. We reconciled, and Jason has become one of the greatest sources of support in my life. And in the work I am doing through this podcast, he is my biggest fan. Understanding perimenopause did not rewrite the past. It did not erase the pain, but it gave us language we did not have before. It helped me understand that I had not simply become cold, difficult, lazy, or incapable of loving someone. I was struggling. I needed medical information. I needed support. I needed compassion, and I needed to learn how to explain what I was experiencing instead of expecting the person beside me to somehow figure it out. Jason could support me, but he could not diagnose me. He could love me, but he could not read my mind. And he could not carry the entire responsibility for making me feel well again. That realization mattered. Research examining menopause and relationships is still developing. Studies have found associations between relationship distress, menopausal symptoms, sexual well-being, marital satisfaction, and quality of life. However, much of this research cannot prove which factor caused the other. For example, one study found that women reporting less relationship distress also reported less severe menopausal symptoms, especially psychological symptoms. But because the study was cross-sectional, the researchers could not determine whether relationship distress worsened the experience of symptoms, symptoms increased relationship distress, or both were influencing each other. That distinction is important. We should not claim perimenopause destroys marriages. We should say perimenopause-related symptoms may place additional stress on a marriage, and relationship stress may also affect how difficult symptoms feel. Both people may influence the environment in which the transition is happening. A supportive relationship cannot prevent every symptom, and a difficult symptom does not automatically mean a marriage is unhealthy. But feeling believed, supported, and able to communicate openly may change how alone a woman feels while navigating this transition. Some research also suggests that educating couples together may be helpful. One small study involving menopausal women and their husbands found that a couple's education intervention improved marital satisfaction. That does not prove one program will work for every couple, but it supports the larger idea that menopause education should not be directed only at women. Partners need education too. Families need language too. because a woman should not be expected to understand, manage, and explain every part of this transition while she is already struggling to function. A partner may need to hear, "This is not automatically about you." She may not understand it yet either. Her exhaustion is not necessarily laziness. Her anxiety may not have an obvious cause. Her reduced interest in sex may involve sleep, discomfort, hormonal changes, body image, stress, medication, emotional well-being, or several factors at once. She still needs accountability, but she also needs compassion. And women may need to hear, "Your partner may be confused and frightened too. He may see the changes but not understand the cause. He may interpret silence as rejection. He may need you to explain what you are learning. He cannot support what he does not know is happening. He is your partner, not your physician or therapist." That does not mean a woman must explain herself perfectly. Sometimes she will not have the words, but she can begin with, "I do not feel like myself, and I'm trying to understand why. I am not pulling away because I stopped loving you. I need you to listen before trying to fix this. I think I need to speak with a qualified provider. I want us to learn about this together." Those sentences can open a door. I also believe we need to say something clearly. Perimenopause should never be used to excuse cruelty, intimidation, manipulation, abuse, or unsafe behavior by either partner. Symptoms can help explain why someone feels more irritable, overwhelmed, anxious, or emotionally reactive. They do not make harmful behavior acceptable. Understanding and accountability can exist together. A woman can say, "I am struggling and I am sorry for how I spoke to you." A partner can say, "I know you are struggling, but we still need to communicate respectfully." Both people are allowed to have needs. Both people are allowed to establish boundaries, and both people may need outside support. That could include a healthcare provider, a licensed therapist, a couples counselor, or another appropriately qualified professional. Seeking help does not mean the marriage has failed. It may mean the couple has stopped expecting love alone to solve something that also requires information, communication, and support. This is one of the reasons I believe women should learn about perimenopause before they are in the middle of it. Education should not begin only after a woman reaches a breaking point. Women in their early 30s should know that perimenopause can sometimes begin earlier than expected. Although it more commonly begins during the 40s, they should know that changes may be gradual and that symptoms can involve more than periods or hot flashes. They should know what patterns may be worth recording. Changes in your menstrual cycles, changes in sleep, new or worsening anxiety, mood changes, difficulty concentrating, hot flashes or night sweats, changes in sexual comfort or desire, energy changes, and symptoms that begin interfering with relationships, work, or everyday life. Tracking does not mean diagnosing yourself. It means creating a timeline that may help a qualified provider understand what has changed. I wish I had known to do that. I wish I had known to write down when my mind began feeling different, when my sleep changed, when my anxiety began feeling unfamiliar, when I started pulling away, when ordinary stress began feeling impossible to manage. Perhaps having that information would not have prevented every painful moment in my marriage. I cannot know that. But it may have helped us ask better questions sooner. And sometimes asking the right question sooner can change the direction of a conversation. Instead of "what is wrong with our marriage?" the question might become, What is happening in our lives, our health, and our relationship, and what kind of help do we need? Friend, perimenopause may happen inside a woman's body, but she does not have to navigate it completely alone. Partners do not need to become experts. They do not need to memorize every symptom. They do not need to solve everything, but they can listen, they can learn, they can attend an appointment when invited. They can ask, how can I support you without taking over? What are you noticing? What do you need from me today? Would you like me to listen, help, or simply sit with you? And women can invite their partners into the conversation without making them responsible for every emotion or every answer. For Jason and me, finding our way back did not mean pretending nothing happened. It meant choosing to understand each other differently. It meant recognizing that love was still there, even during a season when neither one of us always knew how to reach it. I will always wonder how different parts of our story might have been if we had understood perimenopause earlier, but I cannot live backward. What I can do is use my voice. I can tell another woman, please do not wait until you feel completely unlike yourself before asking questions. I can tell a partner, please do not assume every change means she has stopped loving you. And I can tell a couple, you are allowed to admit that something has changed before deciding that everything is broken. Maybe the next step is a conversation. Maybe it is tracking symptoms. Maybe it is making a medical appointment. Maybe it is finding a couples counselor. Maybe it is simply sitting together and saying, we do not fully understand this yet, but we do not want to turn against each other while we learn. That is a powerful place to begin. Perimenopause is not only a woman's issue. It is a health issue, a relationship issue, a family education issue, and a conversation we should begin having much earlier. My story includes confusion, pain, separation, reconciliation, learning, and hope. It is not every woman's story. It is not every marriage's story. But I know I am not the only woman who changed before she understood why. And Jason is not the only partner who was left trying to make sense of those changes. So let's keep talking. Let's educate women before they reach a crisis. Let's include the people who love them. Let's replace assumptions with questions. And let's remember that understanding does not solve everything, but it can give two people a better place to begin. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Be honest about what has changed. Let the people who love you learn beside you. And remember, I've been saving you a seat.